Hey, what's up, everybody? Brandon Morse here for Red State. Today has been a very shocking day, but not surprising day. We'll say that. I've been watching the left all day today when it comes to their coverage of Hurricane Ian, and I am nothing short of disgusted. They say, and within the Democrat Party, never let a crisis go to waste. It's kind of their unofficial motto, and they are taking it way too far today. Starting with, I would say, CNN, who has been doing nothing but tying the Hurricane Ian to global warming and climate change. NBC got in on the game. You got Amy Klobuchar getting in on this game. It has been nothing short of disgusting when you really stop to look at it. They are using the misfortune of others, the destruction that the hurricane is bringing to the Florida coast, as a way to push their message, their climate change narrative. And it's something that, again, I'm shocked by, but I'm not surprised by. Let's just go ahead and dive into this. I want to start this one with our favorite guy at CNN, Don Lemon. NOAA director puts the kibosh on Don Lemon after attempt to politicize hurricane. This is up at redstate.com right now. Head there. There's a link in the description. Go sign up for the VIP. You're going to get a lot of stuff that a lot of people just don't get on the front page, including podcasts and articles, and some articles from yours truly. Right now, you can use the promo code SAVEAMERICA and get 40% off. I recommend you do that. Trust me, you will not regret it. A lot of great stuff appearing on the back end, including soon videos from yours truly. So, do it now. Promo code Save America. Trust me. NOAA director puts the kibosh on Don Lemon after attempt to politicize hurricanes. I'm just gonna let Don Lemon speak for himself, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and just dive right in.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this?
Right off the bat. What does climate change have to do with this? Can you give us the scientist, by the way, they're talking to the NOAA director. He is a scientist. His whole entire thing is weather and what happens during storms, what causes storms, that kind of stuff. And here's Don Lemon wanting to stop him for a second to talk about the climate change narrative. But what does the scientist actually have to do? He has to shut Don Lemon down. Watch.
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now.
That's so embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing that our media has to get shut down by actual scientists so that they can get out information that would be valuable to the people of Florida as a hurricane comes barreling down on top of them. Don Lemon wants to pause everything so that we can talk about the climate change narrative. People in Florida aren't tuning into CNN so that they can hear about how climate change is affecting this hurricane. They're tuning into CNN, if they are at all, to find out, hey, what can we do? What can we expect from this hurricane? Is there any safety precautions that we could take? Where is the storm going to be the worst? What can we expect within the next few hours? That's what they want to know. Don Lemon is putting all of that on pause so that they can talk about climate change. But it gets worse. The scientist actually goes into the science. He talks about the hurricane, what might happen, what's going on inside the center. And what does Don Lemon do? He tries to bring it back to politics. You'll see.
We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon that is happening now? Because it seems these storms are intensifying.
Again, that's not what they're here to talk about. This is not what the scientist here is here to talk about. But he's an actual scientist, so what does he do? He has to actually say, hey, this isn't about climate change.
That's the question.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event. Okay. On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
He had to actually say, no, this is not a thing caused by climate change. It might be making it worse. We don't know. There's actually no scientific evidence out there that says that. Not any true scientific evidence. But to sit there and link an entire hurricane to climate change is foolishness. Foolishness. He had to shut Don Lemon down. But what does Don Lemon do? He actually gets defensive.
Okay, well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify.
What a way to save face, buddy. What a way. It continues on later on. You've got Bill Weir sitting in the midst of a community that was devastated by Hurricane Charlie. And he also is there to link the hurricane to climate change.
Ian is coming. Ian's here. John, we just felt a marked increase in wind speeds within the last 10 minutes or so. We were riding about 40, 50 miles an hour. It was hard to fathom that speed tripling in the next few hours, but we're now getting maybe 70-mile-an-hour gusts here. We're right at the point where US 43 heads across the Peace River here. I'm just in front of the memorial for Hurricane Charlie, which in 2004 devastated this town and sent a wake-up call to this community about the threats of living on the coast in a rapidly warming planet.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Again, communities being devastated by a hurricane, they want to talk about climate change. They want to try to link it to climate change.
Result of that storm, they were the first
he does it a little
bit
further on down the line, too.
Build power lines or building codes for 17-foot storm surge, though. That's the crazy variable here right now. No one has ever seen that, so we don't know what that looks like. But this is exactly what climate scientists have been warning about for a long time, and now we get to see it up close. John?
The same climate scientists that have been telling us that we're going to die in 7 years or 9 years or 10 years, and then those 7, 9, 10 years elapse and nothing happens. The same people that have been telling us that the end of the world is coming for, decades now. And they have been wrong every single time. Those climate scientists that have been warning us, like the street preachers telling us that the end is nigh, and yet the end doesn't come. Those climate scientists, this is embarrassing, CNN. Absolutely embarrassing. But it's not just CNN that's getting in on the game. No, NBC was there too. Lester Holt, they were trying to push climate change. They were trying to link Hurricane Ian with climate change. And it's not just in the media either. Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats in Washington, of course, they want to convince you that, of course, this hurricane has something to do with climate change, at least the intensification of it. And that's the reason why you should be voting Democrat.
And two, you've got leaders in Congress like Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi, as well as their Republicans that want to work with them, where we have been able to step by step push these bills through. And so I think so many times people counted us out, but we want to make clear we've got the backs of the American people. And while we have clear disagreements, we don't want, if the Republicans take charge, a number of them have been talking about an abortion ban. You guys know that. You featured on the show. That's why we've got to win this midterm. We just did something about climate change for the first time in decades. That's why we've got to win this as that hurricane bears down on Florida. We got to win in the midterms.
First off, that climate change bill was supposed to address the rapidly increasing inflation in this nation, but I guess, climate change that is unproven is more important than the actual proven inflation that is damaging our economy and making it harder for people to live. But did she just say that the reason that people need to vote in Democrats this November is because of the hurricane that is barreling down on Florida? Is she suggesting that Democrats have the power to eliminate, if not de-intensify hurricanes, like some sort of gods? This is the really dumb part about this whole entire climate change narrative push. It's the idea that human beings can somehow control the weather. We can't control the weather. And they're pretending like we've never seen intense hurricanes before. We've been experiencing intense hurricanes since long before written history. There have been written accounts in the ancient world of hurricanes. Okay? The idea that that these destructive phenomena are suddenly new. Like they just suddenly came out of nowhere after we pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords. Thanks to Donald Trump. That is absolutely ridiculous. But this is the Democrats' plan. They want to scare you into thinking that if you vote for them, this kind of destructive weather will go away. They're trying to scare you into thinking that if you vote in Republicans, these hurricanes will only intensify and get worse and become more numerous. Tornadoes, earthquakes, everything. It's all because Republicans. That is absolutely asinine. We human beings are not gods. We cannot control the weather. And this party, who, by the way, their whole entire approach to climate change only centers on America and its reversion to socialism. Okay? They can't control all the other countries that are engaging in pollution constantly, like China and India, who are the major polluters on the planet. No, they think that they can convince you that it's the United States that's the problem, and that the only way to fix that is to give them more power and to pass climate change legislation like the Green New Deal, which is effectively a bringing America into socialism. It's all about power for the Democrats. This is what it really boils down to. These Democrats don't actually care about the climate. If they did, then they would actually revert to nuclear power. They would actually utilize nuclear power. They would pass climate legislation that involves pipelines that are clean and safer. That's what they would do. You have Democrats actually admitting that closing down the XL pipeline was a bad idea because it would require trucks and trains to carry fuel from one place to another, and those engage in or have wrecks far more often than a pipeline. You have climate protests that shut down roads, that keep cars idling on the road, spewing their CO2 into the air. They're lighting fires, using garbage in city streets in protest. They leave trash everywhere. These people don't care about the climate. What they care about is power. That's what they care about. And they care about scaring you into thinking that if you don't vote for them, things are only going to get worse, that Mother Nature is going to come down hard on you for that. Don't let them prove that they have the ability to scare you. They think you're stupid. Don't prove them right. I'll see you in the next video.